Question: how much inch tires have a minimum of inch tread depth on the road surface? Option number 1, 1/16 inch. Option number 2, 1/15 inch. Option number 3, 1/14 inch. Option number 4, 1/10 inch. The answer is option number 1, 1/16 inch. Note, tires must have a minimum of 1/16 inch tread depth on the road surface. They should be free of major bumps or bulges, breaks, or tread damage. Question: from how far the taillights must be visible from the rear? Option number 1, 300 feet. Option number 2, 400 feet. Option number 3, 500 feet. Option number 4, 600 feet. The answer is option number 3, 500 feet. Note, every vehicle must display at least one taillight, emitting a red light visible 500 feet from the rear. Every vehicle must be equipped with 2 or more stop lights emitting a red light from the rear, visible for 500 feet, whenever the brakes are applied. Question: a turn signal must be given at least feet before make turn? Option number 1, 50 feet. Option number 2, 100 feet. Option number 3, 150 feet. Option number 4, 200 feet. The answer is option number 2, 100 feet. Note, turn signals must be used to show intention to turn right or left, to change course of direction, or to change lanes on a multi-lane road. They should be turned on well in advance of the planned change of direction, at least 100 feet. Question: at an intersection where traffic is moving in both directions, how can you make the left turn? Option number 1, must left turn on the right half of the street, away from the center line. Option number 2, must left turn on the left half of the street, away from the center line. Option number 3, must left turn on the left half of the street, nearest the center line. Option number 4, must left turn on the right half of the street, nearest the center line. The answer is option number 4, must left turn on the right half of the street nearest the center line. Note, at an intersection where traffic is moving in both directions on each road, entering the intersection shall make the approach in the right half of the road nearest the center line. The turn should be made into the lane on the right half of the street nearest the center line. Question: where you must park your vehicle facing the direction of traffic on road. Option number 1, on the side of the street, parallel to and not more than 12 inches from the right curb. Option number 2, on the side of the street, parallel to and not more than 12 inches from the left curb. Option number 3, on the side of the street, parallel to and not more than 10 inches from the right curb. Option number 4, on the side of the street, parallel to and not more than 10 inches from the left curb. The answer is option number 1, on the side of the street, parallel to and not more than 12 inches from the right curb. Note, a vehicle must be parked facing the direction of traffic on that side of the street, parallel to and not more than 12 inches from the right curb. On one-way streets, vehicles may be parked parallel to and not more than 12 inches from the right or left curb. Local ordinances permit angle parking in some jurisdictions. Question: Ohio's legal drinking age for alcohol is Option number 1, 18. Option number 2, 20. Option number 3, 21. Option number 4, 22. The answer is option number 3, 21. Note, Ohio's legal drinking age for alcohol is 21. Driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs is against the law in Ohio. It is unlawful to operate a vehicle with a blood alcohol concentration, BAC, of 0.08% or higher. Question: The law authorizes police to file charges against drivers under 21 years old who have blood alcohol concentration, BAC, of at least %, but less than %. Option number 1, at least 0.02%, but less than 0.08%. Option number 2, at least 0.03%, but less than 0.09%. Option number 3, at least 0.04%, but less than 0.1%. Option number 4, at least 0.05%, but less than 0.08%. The answer is option number 1, at least 0.02%, but less than 0.08%. Note, the law authorizes police to file charges against drivers under the age of 21 who have a blood alcohol concentration, BAC, of at least 0.02%, but less than 0.08%. The offense is called operating a vehicle after underage consumption. Question: Homicide by a vehicle is how much point violations? Option number 1, 2-point violations. Option number 2, 4-point violations. Option number 3, 6-point violations. Option number 4, 7-point violations. The answer is option number 3, 6-point violations. Note, 6-point violations. Number 1, homicide by vehicle. Number 2, operating a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol and/or any drug of abuse. Number 3, failure to stop and disclose identity at the scene of a collision. Number 4, willingly fleeing or eluding a law enforcement officer. Number 5, racing. Number 6, operating a vehicle without the consent of the owner. Number 7, using a vehicle in the commission of a felony, or committing any crime punishable as a felony under Ohio motor vehicle laws. Question: Unless it is posted otherwise, the speed limit in a residential area is? Option number 1, 25 miles per hour. Option number 2, 20 miles per hour. Option number 3, 35 miles per hour. Option number 4, 15 miles per hour. The answer is option number 1, 25 miles per hour. Question: A flashing red traffic signal at an intersection has the same requirements as which of the following? Option number 1, a slow sign. Option number 2, a yield sign. Option number 3, a stop sign. Option number 4, an intersection sign. The answer is option number 3, a stop sign. Question: What is the name for Ohio's automobile emissions test, which must be required before a motor vehicle can be registered in certain counties in Ohio? Option number 1, M-Check certificate. Option number 2, O-Check certificate. Option number 3, U-Check certificate. Option number 4, E-Check certificate. The answer is option number 4, E-Check certificate. Note, E-Check is the name for Ohio's automobile emissions test. This pollution control inspection program was designed to increase the air quality in certain counties in Ohio. These counties are Cuyahoga, Geauga, Lake, Lorain, Medina, Portage, and Summit. Question: when can you make a left on red? Option number 1, from a one-way to a two-way. Option number 2, from a one-way to a one-way. Option number 3, from a two-way to a two-way. Option number 4, from a two-way to a one-way. The answer is option number 2, from a one-way to a one-way. Note: a left turn on red. Under limited circumstances, it is legal to make a left turn after stopping at a red traffic signal. A left turn on red may be made only from the extreme left lane of a one-way street to the extreme left lane of another one-way street, providing there is no sign posted forbidding a left turn on red. Question: when are the studded tires are legal in Ohio? Option number 1, August 1st through April 15th. Option number 2, September 1st through April 15th. Option number 3, October 1st through April 15th. Option number 4, November 1st through April 15th. The answer is option number 4, November 1st through April 15th. Question: what are the penalties under litter law? Option number 1, fines of up to $1,000 and/or 6 months in jail. Option number 2, fines of up to $2,000 and/or 6 months in jail. Option number 3, fines of up to $1,000 and/or 12 months in jail. Option number 4, fines of up to $2,000 and/or 12 months in jail. The answer is option number 1, fines of up to $1,000 and/or 6 months in jail. Note: Ohio Revised Code prohibits littering, regardless of whether or not it was intentional. Littering is a serious offense, punishable by fines of up to $1,000 and/or 6 months in jail. Question: what is the most important driving technique to avoid crashes when driving in icy or snowy conditions? Option number 1, add extra weight to the vehicle to improve traction. Option number 2, get off the highways as quickly as possible. Option number 3, engage four-wheel drive on the vehicle. Option number 4, reduce speed and increase following distance. The answer is option number 4, reduce speed and increase following distance. Question: the application for an operator's license must be signed by the parent or guardian when the applicant is under what age? Option number 1, 16. Option number 2, 20. Option number 3, 21. Option number 4, 18. The answer is option number 4, 18. Note: under 18 years of age, the application must be co-signed at the deputy registrar by a parent or a legal guardian at the time of application. A co-signer must present either a valid Ohio driver license or valid Ohio ID card or prove all 5. Question: child restraints are required for which of the following? Option number 1, all children who are under the age of 8 and are less than 4 feet 9 inches. Option number 2, all children for whom the driver of the car is the parent or guardian. Option number 3, all children who are seated in the front seat. Option number 4, all children who are under the age of 6, when airbags are not available. The answer is option number 1, all children who are under the age of 8 and are less than 4 feet 9 inches. Note: age 4 and 40 pounds to age 8. When any child who is at least 4 years of age, but less than 8 years of age, is being transported in a motor vehicle, the operator of the vehicle shall have the child properly restrained in a booster seat unless the child is 4 feet 9 inches or taller. Exemptions: public safety vehicles, taxicabs, and vehicles not required by law to be equipped with safety belts at the time of manufacture. Question: when two vehicles arrive at an intersection at the same time, which one has the right-of-way, when no signs or signals indicate rules? Option number 1, the car approaching from the right has the right-of-way. Option number 2, the car approaching from the left has the right-of-way. Option number 3, the car in which the driver sounds his horn first has the right-of-way. Option number 4, the car that is traveling faster has the right-of-way. The answer is option number 1, the car approaching from the right has the right-of-way. Note: a driver must yield the right-of-way to traffic approaching an intersection before making a right turn at a red light. Question: what kind of truck limitations to keep in mind to avoid crashes? Option number 1, the bigger their blind spots. Option number 2, the more room they need to maneuver. Option number 3, the longer it takes them to stop. Option number 4, the longer it takes them to pass. Option number 5, all of the above. The answer is option number 5, all of the above. Note: trucks have limitations in terms of maneuverability, stopping distance, and blind spots. Question: pedestrians should not step onto a public road or highway without to see what vehicles may be approaching in traffic. Option number 1, without looking in any direction. Option number 2, looking in left direction. Option number 3, looking in right direction. Option number 4, looking in both direction. The answer is option number 4, looking in both direction. Note: look in both directions. Pedestrians should not step onto a public road or highway without looking in both directions to see what vehicles may be approaching in traffic. They should not leave a sidewalk or place of safety and walk or run into the path of a vehicle that is so close that it is an immediate hazard. Question: how much is the bottom of bumper to the ground for your back and front car? Option number 1, 21 inch. Option number 2, 22 inch. Option number 3, 23 inch. Option number 4, 24 inch. The answer is option number 2, 22 inch. Note: bumper law. Ohio law requires that all vehicles be equipped with bumpers if they had them when manufactured. The bumper limits for passenger vehicles that have been modified are 22 inches from the bottom of the bumper to the ground for the front and back bumper. Question: when you see the lights flashing on an emergency vehicle, you should. Option number 1, pull to the left and stop until it passes you. Option number 2, pull to the right and stop until it passes you. Option number 3, don't stop but slow down until it passes you. Option number 4, speed up to get away from it. The answer is option number 2, pull to the right and stop until it passes you. Note: upon the approach of an emergency vehicle displaying flashing lights and an audible signal, the driver must immediately drive to a position parallel to the right edge or curb of the road or highway and stop. Drivers must be careful not to block intersections. All vehicles must remain in this position until the emergency vehicle has passed, or when directed otherwise by a law enforcement officer. Question: when traveling on a highway divided into 4 traffic lanes, which vehicles are required to stop for a school bus that has stopped to unload children? Option number 1: only vehicles approaching the rear of the bus traveling in the same direction as the bus. Option number 2: all vehicles approaching the bus from either direction. Option number 3: no one is required to stop unless children are in view. Option number 4: all vehicles may pass the bus after providing an audible signal. The answer is option number 1: only vehicles approaching the rear of the bus traveling in the same direction as the bus. Question: when a stop is required at an intersection, and no markings appear to indicate a stop line or crosswalk, which of the following is the appropriate place to make the stop? Option number 1: the driver is not required to stop. Option number 2: the driver is required to slow down to make sure crossing traffic is clear. Option number 3: only at a place where the driver can see at least 200 feet on either side, without regard for the intersecting roadway. Option number 4: at the point nearest the intersecting roadway, where the driver has a view of approaching traffic on the intersecting roadway before actually entering the roadway. The answer is option number 4: at the point nearest the intersecting roadway, where the driver has a view of approaching traffic on the intersecting roadway before actually entering the roadway. Question: when is a driver permitted to turn right on a red traffic signal? Option number 1: when the driver has stopped and checked to see that the turn will not interfere with crossing traffic. Option number 2: when signs are clearly posted to allow a right turn on red. Option number 3: only at the direction of a police officer. Option number 4: after first slowing and verifying the turn will not interfere with other traffic and pedestrians. The answer is option number 1: when the driver has stopped and checked to see that the turn will not interfere with crossing traffic. Question: if someone has consumed alcoholic drinks, what will help the person overcome the influence of those drinks? Option number 1: tomato juice and lime. Option number 2: hot coffee. Option number 3: fresh air. Option number 4: time. The answer is option number 4: time. Question: what does this sign mean? Option number 1: railroad crossing. Option number 2: school crossing. Option number 3: pedestrian crossing. Option number 4: truck route. The answer is option number 1: railroad crossing. Note: warning signs adjacent to the roadways alert motorists to potentially hazardous conditions. The circle is reserved for railroad crossing signs. Question: what does this sign indicate? Option number 1: one-way only. Option number 2: no left turns allowed. Option number 3: no U-turns allowed. Option number 4: no slowing down. The answer is option number 3: no U-turns allowed. Note: prohibitory signs. The red circle and a slash is standard for all prohibitory signs and represents the word no. Whenever this symbol appears on a sign, the illustrated action is prohibited. Question: at the faster speeds of highway traffic, you should follow another vehicle no closer than 1 car length for every dash of speed. Option number 1, 10 miles. Option number 2, 15 miles. Option number 3, 20 miles. Option number 4, 25 miles. The answer is option number 1, 10 miles. Note: follow no closer than 1 car length for every 10 miles of speed. Remember the 3-second rule. Maintain your speed at or just below the posted speed limit. Question: what does this sign mean? Option number 1, pedestrian crossing. Option number 2, school ahead. Option number 3, seat belt sign. Option number 4, speed limit. The answer is option number 2, school ahead. Note: schools. Emphasis has been given to the school and school crosswalk signs through the use of a pentagon shape. The school sign warns motorists that they are approaching a school zone, while the school crosswalk sign identifies established crossings, where children are directed to cross a roadway.